The Guardians, Book 1, Nicholas St. North and the Battle of the Nightmare King. Chapter 12, another short but intriguing episode. While North recovered in Big Root, the Spectral Boy rollicked across the planet as he pleased, from the wilds of Canada to the Himalayas to Arabian desert sands, riding on the wind or on fleets of clouds he'd commandeer at his whim. He could outrun any moonbeam and took prankish pleasure from hiding from them. He could never sit still for too long. It was as if he had been locked inside for 10,000 rainy days, which wasn't far from the truth. Being locked inside Pitch's cold heart had been like a prison. Still, it wasn't the dagger that had kept Pitch paralyzed all that time, but the goodness of the Spectral Boy. The boy thawed the tiny fragment of goodness that still lived inside Pitch and kept his evil frozen, unable to act. A little bit of goodness can be a very powerful thing against evil. But the boy needed light and warmth and life. He could not bear the burden of stunting Pitch forever. His glow would eventually weaken and die, and Pitch would have walked again. But now the Spectral Boy was free. He needed to just go. To see whatever seized his attention. This earth was new to him, and he looked upon it in very simple terms. Things were either good or bad. Riding clouds was good. Feelings and nightmare men were bad. He thought of people most as simply. There were small ones, children. They were good and fun. They were playful and wild like himself. As for the tall ones, grown-ups, his feelings were a little more complicated. Some were good and some were definitely bad. And Pitch was worse than bad. Pitch meant to harm all the small ones, especially those in Statov Clausen. The boy wasn't exactly sure why Pitch wanted to hurt them, but he was sure it wasn't fair or right. He thought it might be that they were so strong and happy that they never had nightmares. So no matter where he was or what far-flung corner of the planet he was exploring, come night, he would rush back to the village and hide near Big Root, watching and waiting. He noticed the tall one named North had stayed in the village. He liked North a great deal. He was brave and strong, and always kind to the small ones. But there was something else about North that intrigued him. The old man named Umbric was teaching him how to do all sorts of fascinating things, magical things. The boy had once peered into the window of Big Root and saw North intently reading a thick book by the fireplace. Umbric was going over ledgers at the table nearby. Sleeping in her own little bed was the girl they called Catherine. He had liked her too. She was very brave for a small one. The Spectral Boy had the oddest sensation, a memory of something familiar. Something good. He didn't know the word for it, but he felt what was friendship. Then the moonbeams arrived and caught his attention. They were ready for their game of chase. The clouds were waiting. It was time to play. But if Pitch or any of his kind returned to hurt these people, the boy would do his best to help them.